Welcome to Cities Podcast. Today we are diving into the connection between mindfulness and daily commutes with insights from industry leaders. I'm Deepa Mehra, your host, and as a passionate yoga and meditation practitioner. At CT, our mission is to create a stress free life for everyone in our ecosystem. We specialize in managed mobility service designed to ease the load on heads by managing non-core transport functions. This not only reduces stress, but also ensures a smooth and seamless commute for all. Thank you for joining us. I am excited for today's discussion on making daily commutes more mindful and stress less for everyone involved. Let me welcome Ms. Jassi, a seasoned professional into global business travel and sourcing, offering over 2 decades of experience. So, Ms. Jassi, for our viewers and listeners, may I request you to give a brief introduction of yourself?
Thank you so much, Deepa. Appreciate you introducing me, and from the field that you come, I'm really happy to hear about that. Looking at myself over the years, as you said, 2 decades. Yes, it is 2 decades of experience, different backgrounds that I worked. Most importantly, I think a lot of people in a lot of corporates call it as corporate services. Some people call it as administration. Some people call it as real estate and a lot of names. So I think I have been able to be a part of, the corporates for a lot of areas where it comes to administration management, their travel management, their employee transport, sourcing. That was one of the things which I really enjoyed as well. But my most important passion is global travel. I really love doing that. And over the decades, with the kind of experience I have seen from the time we started manually, and we've evolved, and it's become more of technology based now. I was able to ensure from the last 10 years, I would say that, I have been pushing corporates to be able to adapt to online adoption, trying to, through my sourcing experiences, I've been able to initiate those kind of technology platforms for the employee transport, or whether it be, travel or anything for that matter, or even invoicing. So we will definitely talk more about those, because I'm sure you're going to ask me about my initiatives later of what I have done. So I would not touch upon that, but I would say that I've enjoyed my, journey all the way through, and learning a lot of how technology is, um, giving us surprises of what can be managed even without human intervention. So I really, feel proud that I was able to initiate these kind of initiatives. It has given me a lot of experience, and I'm today able to be a consultant for people to be able to tell them what works, what doesn't. And sometimes we don't look at the broader picture from the time you start till the end. We definitely do have these gaps, but I'm able to understand as a consultant what works best, what kind of ERP works fine for, which system. So a lot of experience, and I still have I'm doing consulting with, Onity right now. It was earlier called Ocwen Financials. I'm doing consulting with them for Onity Group right now, and do also a few of these, training sessions for people. So that's something which I felt after over a period of long tenure that I've worked, it was good for me to be able to share my experiences and my learnings for people to be able to do better in their jobs as well. So that's a little bit about me, Deepa. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me for this podcast.
Thank you, Ms. Jassi, for such a comprehensive introduction. Yeah, really, it's inspiring to hear about your vast experience and the impact you have made in the global business, travel, and sourcing industry. I'm sure our audience is eager to learn from your expertise and insights. So let's dive deeper into your journey and some of the key trends shaping the industry today. So before we start the talk, I would like to welcome Mr. Sachin Agrawal, our most active and visionary co-founder, CEO to this podcast for an insightful conversation. So, Mr. Sachin Agrawal, can we also have your brief introduction for our viewers and listeners?
Thank you, Deepa, and thank you, Ms. Jassi Bishan.
Thank
Happy
you.
to have you with us at the podcast, and we look forward to have a conversation going in the next 15 to 20 minutes. So, about me, we started, Consulttrans in mid of 2021, and since beginning of my career, I always wanted to do something different. And out here, as far as Consultrans is concerned, we are trying to replicate what has happened, what transformation has happened in FM and CRE space. You know, all these leaders into FM and real estate space, what they've brought in and what they've given to this industry in the last over 2 decades is what we are trying to replicate in transport. And how we are trying to replicate in transport is by uh, bringing a new, giving a new term called managed mobility, right? And it's a very, very niche, very, very unconventional approach towards the way transport is being managed. As you know, transport is highly, highly unorganized sector so far, but we are trying to make it organized. So that's a little introduction about me, and we'll be happy to discuss it during the course of our discussion
Sure.
going forward. So, yeah, Ms. Jessie, so we understand you've been part of admin, you've been part of sourcing, you love doing, handling global travel, uh, you've handled transport as well. So, especially from the sourcing point of view, because sourcing plays a very, very critical role when you talk about transport, because transport being the third largest spend, after salaries and real estate cost. So, from your lens, how do you define strategic sourcing? So we've come a long way. We used to talk about purchase, then we used to talk about, we termed it as sourcing. Now the next thing is strategic sourcing. So how would you like to elaborate? How do you define strategic sourcing?
Okay, thank you so much for that question, Sachin. Strategic sourcing, I know we had this term called purchasing earlier, but when we call it as strategic sourcing, whether it was a purchasing or whether it is strategic sourcing, the main idea is to see that there's a cost saving involved in whatever you do. That means trying to get the quality product at the right price. So when we look at the strategic sourcing right now, we are not looking at only the purchasing module. When you say a strategic sourcing, okay, how do you tie when you do your sourcing? Do you roll out an RFP? Do you roll out an RFI to get quotes from people? Is there a tool that can reach out to people and you get your quotes? Earlier, it was more manual. You had to have a meeting set up. You would meet, face to face. But today, the system does it. If you have that incorporated in your system, the ERP, whatever you're using, if you have all these things, you are able to, bid for it as well. Today, that option is there. So that's again a part of strategic sourcing. Invoicing has been manual. Your contracts, your agreements have been always, manual. You have an entire team of third-party risk. You have your legal team involved. You have the sourcing team involved. So strategic sourcing is now all these three, areas have all combined together today, and they form one team today. Because when you look at strategic sourcing of an agreement or a contract as well, there are certain templates which are going to be a fixed one. There are some areas that you're going to fill in, but it's all mandated. The indemnity clauses are the same, the insurances that you need. So I would call this, these are all strategic sourcing. These are some things that while, we had all these manually, today we are able to do that. We are able to even get a kind of cost benefit that through the system that we are able to do. What kind of initiatives, what kind of analysis works? Do I really need to have a vendor? Let's talk about employee transport today. Do I really need to have 5 different vendors? Do I need to have 2 vendors? What is my percentage of volumes that has been given to each of these vendors? Do I really need a team to manage those 5 different vendors? right? Again, here strategic sourcing comes into picture. So they would be able to analyze and say, do we really need 5? Do we really need 2? Now, do we really need this to be handled by the internal team, or can it be outsourced? So these are strategic sourcing. So these are some of the examples that I want to touch upon when I say strategic sourcing has evolved. There's a lot that is there on the plate. Even with regard to invoicing, it has become more, not manual, but it has become automated today. So these are all part of strategic sourcing that have come up. That's why it's called strategic sourcing now.
Fantastic, fantastic. So just see few things we learned from your response. Cost saving, getting a quality product, and at a right price. So we are talking about driving value, and your thoughts and experience actually resonate with the model that CT brings on table, right? So when we go and meet a client, our pitch is very, very simple, that if you feel that we can bring in some value, right? We are not here to offer X number of vehicles. If you feel that through our unique, managed mobility model, if we can bring some value on table, then we are there. Otherwise, we don't even expect business, right? If a
Yes.
client comes and asks us X number of vehicles, we clearly say no, right? Unless we are able to drive some value. And value can always be driven either, on the cost front or on the quality front, or a combination of both.
Yes.
Offering a price reduction or offering some kind of economies without compromising on the quality is what we are trying to deliver. Fantastic. uh, so having spent close to about 7 to 8 years with Ocwen, would you like to share some of the key initiatives from the employee transport standpoint?
Okay. If I have to only look at India perspective, India, behaves in a different way in each location when it comes to employee transportation. There are certain rules, regulations which every state has to follow. Like, so when I come to Consulttrans now, that's another question that I would ask you: that are you really geared up? Do you really have that kind of a backup with the political situation in Maharashtra where you would be able to handle it better? So that's one area. Like Maharashtra has it's politically defined. With traffic, with pollution, which is available in in the city, in every part of city, Delhi behaves differently. I know, because right now, even when I look at even India, Bangalore for that matter, metros have started, but they are not well connected like how Delhi is, well connected with metros, right? That's the reason why I said every city plays, differently, and it has to be managed in that. Now, if you have to offer that kind of the comfort for a corporate to say that, give it to me, I will handle it. If there's any issue, then probably you cut me out. Today, we are not able to do that as well. Because one, we need to understand how the market behaves. We need to understand there's a lot of challenges today that we face. One, no, people have moved to hybrid kind of working. Earlier, the kind of mobility, the requirements that corporates have, it's become probably it's, I think, 50% or it's 40% today, which people are using. We never thought of a hybrid module at all before COVID as well, right? So if I want to talk about an initiative, maybe I'll talk about the hybrid module of workspace management. How did we come to wanting to take that? We compared whether how much is an employee going to cost us for this desk, for the space, for his internet, for everything together. We say, okay, if it's 15,000 rupees, if it's costing me 15,000 per month, if I offer him transport, if I offer him a space, now can I actually move to a hybrid module and I'm using their space, I'm using their thing. If they are charging me 10,000 per person versus, my lease or rental and everything together, that's an analysis that needs to be done to then define whether where have we reached in terms of did we make the right decision. Today, I think nobody was actually interested in that kind of a module some time ago before COVID, but a lot of people saw value in that. like we spoke about value, this analysis, this value-based what we look at is where will help us define whether what can we see in future. Is outsourcing the next option, that's the latest option that people should look at considering. So I feel there's a lot that we can talk about, but basic thing what I would like to say is that we've, as I say again and again, I always say we evolved is because of technology. Technology has shown a lot of things for us that we can do differently. Even with transportation, we have moved even with technology, using technology. Corporates are using technology today. How much ever they may say they used to have that command center, the war room, and all that stuff, and you literally had 10 people managing employee transportation, that has actually shrunk. It has come down because of technology. So I have seen these things in our strategic sourcing. We've done these, initiatives, and we've seen a lot of value that came in Ocwen when we started taking. I don't know whether I should mention names, but yes, we had Rootmatic that we had initiated for the technology platform to manage employee transportation, which really worked well.
Fantastic. So I'll very insightful. So one of the things that you mentioned is the complexities involved, especially when you talk about Mumbai from the transport standpoint,
True.
and we have seen this in NCR as well few years ago, right? Uh, I'll pick up a quick story. We were sitting with a client, and so far, I think, just for your reference, we've handled 19 transitions in last few years, and these are fairly large clients, big
Okay.
names, from a conventional model of managing the transport 8 to 10 partners, moving to a single partner like Consulttrans.
True.
And we've handled 12 consulting projects. And I'm talking about companies who have a transport user base of close to about 15, 20,000 per day kind of a size.
Volumes, yeah.
So that's the kind of experience that we bring specifically into this niche segment of managed mobility. Now, coming to your point, the complexities involved, yes, I'm completely in agreement with you. The story which I wanted to pick up was that we were in talks, and we are in the final stages of a client who commutes close to about 12,000 employees in Delhi NCR, Bangalore, and Hyderabad.
Okay.
And Delhi NCR being the 70 to 80% of the business. So you understand the scale. So they partnered with six different suppliers, six different vendors for sourcing the fleet, and this went on for many, many years. This I'm talking about 3 years ago, just prior to COVID. And sorry to say that, but what few of them were actually goons of NCR, and they decided to entrust this task to us to manage the complete employee transport operations for them. And the contract was being signed in the next few days. So we already started meeting these vendor partners and suppliers, and we come with a very, very different approach at Consultrans. We try and take people along. We don't really believe in disturbing the ecosystem, whether it
Yeah,
is the existing incumbent vendors or the teams.
correct.
At most of these transitions, 19 transitions that we have done, in 80 to 85% of the transitions, we have ensured that we are able to absorb at least 80% of the resources and 50 to 60% of the vendors.
True.
So during that transition, we happened to meet, one of the so-called large vendor and goons there, and they came with surprisingly they came with folded hands in the conference room. And when I asked him, when I put across, are you happy to work with Consultrans or a company like us? Your relationship ends with the customer already. Your contracts are being terminated, and you just have 1 month's time. With a little introduction of our company, this proposal was made to him, and his answer in Hindi was that, सर वो दिन चले गए जब हम लोग कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स उठाते थे छुरा रखकर, अब तो आप लोगों के साथ ही काम करना है हम लोगों को. That was his response.
Right.
And believe you me, again, our thought process not something that if a vendor was enjoying 700 rupees per trip rate, we'll try and squeeze him, or we'll make it 675, or we'll make it
True.
650. That is not the way we save money for the customer.
Exactly.
The savings will come from the efficiency that we bring on board, the
Right.
wastages that we eliminate. That's the thought process behind
True.
this model of managed mobility that we bring on table for the clients. So, and finally we shook hands. The contract was signed with the client as well as with that partner in about a week's time. The other thing is that every individual, every partner needs respect, right? And it's vice versa. So we make sure that we don't squeeze them on the commercials. We make sure that the payments are made in time as per the contractual terms, and they are paid rightly
Yeah.
without any unnecessary deductions. So far, in my experience of last so many years of driving this managed mobility end-to-end model, we have not delayed a payment for more than 2 to 3 days. It's very, very rare that we had to extend the payments for about 2 to 3 days, but 99% of the times the payments are made within the contracted timelines with these partners. So I
Right.
think we need to stick to the basics when we deal with partners and when we deal with the customers or clients also. And I think
But
we
I want
can.
to ask you a question, Sachin, here. I'm happy that you shared this experience of this client that you had to and the vendor that you had to work with. What would have happened if you did not want to sign up with a goon who was giving the vehicles, and
Yeah.
you had to change the vendor? Would that have been the same, approach of respect that person would have given you, or he would have still created issues for you on the way,
Good
right?
question. So the approach is very, very balanced. Just see what we do is, let's say there are 10 vendors who are associated with that client, ABC client. Before we have these meetings, we have a brief discussion with the client and take their consent,
Okay.
or we try
Whether
and
they want to
shortlist.
continue.
Yeah, so we take their consent, we understand from them what are the pros and cons and how has been the services so far in the last few
Yes.
years. So post taking that feedback, we go ahead and do the discussions.
Okay.
On another transition that we handle, I'll keep it very, very short in Bangalore. And I would not like to take the name of the supplier, but they
Yeah.
are the largest in Bangalore, right? The owners came with, again, we were handling a transition about 4,000, 3,500 employees, users, and this was in Whitefield. So this they were having about 4 to 5 different vendors. When the this largest supplier came and met us, again he came with folded hands and a very, very elderly person. And believe you me, when he heard us and our thought process, he learned about our company. It took us few minutes to sign up with him,
Okay. That's
right?
good.
So important is that respect element, which is very, very
It's
important,
important. Right.
and the transparency that you maintain and the thought process. So we clearly say that we we are not here to squeeze your margins or squeeze the cost that you are working at. But yes, we may do some market correction. So we've done corrections to the extent of 2 to 3% or 4%. That's about it. So if
Okay.
I'm getting a saving about, let's say, 7%, 8% to the client, probably uh, the reduction in the sourcing will be just about 2 to 3%. Rest of it, eliminating the wastages.
Wastages.
That's how we get the economies.
True. Good.
Thank you for sharing your perspective. And, listening to both of you is truly inspiring. Your leadership and insights empower our audience to navigate the evolving transportation industry with confidence and clarity. So thank you for guiding us towards success. So I would like to ask one more question. How do you perceive Consulttrans as a brand from an outsider perspective?
So I did, know something about Consulttrans, and I know that the most important thing that Consulttrans is doing is it's more a managed mobility. You have your own, command center, and it gives value to the corporates to understand that they are saving on space, they're saving on manpower, but they are getting efficiency. It's not just, that they may have wastages like how Sachin mentioned, but when you do it, you look at the perspective of other clients as well and see how you can save, how you can manage better. So a lot of things that you are doing, you'll also offer consulting support, and that's such an advantage because people are ready to listen, give their ear for a person who spent decades on, the kind of work that they have put in earlier and why they've, come to this conclusion that this would work. So we really need to have an open mind for corporates to look at it that, outsourcing is a good option. Consulting is a good option that they should definitely learn to pay towards that to get the kind of services that they can get. Yes, that's what I would say.
Thank you, Jassi, for sharing your thoughts on
Thank
it.
you.
It's insightful to hear how the brand comes from across from an external viewpoint. So we are always working to align our image with our mission and values. So before we wrap up, is there a powerful one-liner you would like to leave with our viewers and listeners?
Be ready for change. Be ready to adapt the change. That's the only thing I would say.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for being part of
Thank
today's
you.
conversation with the wonderful
Thank you for
insight.
inviting me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Really
We
appreciate it.
truly appreciate your time and support. So for
Thank
our
you.
viewers and listeners, don't miss out next episode. We will dive into the latest trends in employee transportation with expert insights from CT. Stay tuned for more inspiring and thought-provoking discussions. So thank you. Thank you so much.